When a whisper reaches the throne, sometimes the most life-changing moments don't come from loud actions, but from a quiet whisper that rises straight from the heart. This whisper has a name: dua, supplication, a direct, unfiltered connection between a human being and the creator of the universe. Dua is not poetry, it's not a ritual, and it's not a last-minute emergency button. Dua is an intimate conversation, a place where fears melt, hope rises, and a person finally admits the truth. I can't do this alone, and I don't have to. Every believer has gone through this moment. The moment when the world feels too heavy, solutions seem impossible, and every door feels locked. But dua opens a door that no human can ever shut. It reaches a place where no voice is ignored, no tear is wasted, and no burden goes unseen. The meaning of dua is simple: to call upon Allah, to ask Him, to speak to Him, to surrender your worries into His hands. But the effect of dua, that's where the real miracle happens. Because something changes the moment you raise your hands. Not necessarily your situation, at least not instantly, but you change. Your heart steadies, your breath deepens, your loneliness weakens. Your soul finally remembers who is truly in control. Dua teaches you that even when life is unpredictable, Allah is not. Even when people break promises, He never does. And even when the world feels silent, He is listening closer than your jugular vein. And here's the truth many forget. Dua is accepted in different ways, sometimes instantly, sometimes later, and sometimes by giving you something better than what you asked for. But it is always heard. It is always recorded. It is never ignored. In the Quran, Allah tells us, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." This is not a suggestion. It's a promise, a guarantee, a divine invitation. So imagine the power of this moment. You, a single human being, raising your hands, speaking softly, and the Lord of all worlds turning His attention toward you. This is dua. This is the opening of the heart. This is where transformation begins. The two hands that change destiny. There are moments in life when a person feels stuck, trapped between fear and uncertainty, unsure of what step to take next. But Islam teaches something powerful. Sometimes the step forward isn't on the ground. It's in the sky, with hands raised in dua. Dua comes in many forms, and each form carries its own depth, its own energy, and its own spiritual signature. Understanding these types doesn't just improve your worship, it transforms the way you communicate with Allah. The first type is dua of need, when the heart is desperate and the soul is trembling. This is the dua made in tears, in silence, or even in a whisper when the world feels too loud. It's the dua of a mother praying for her child, a man praying for a halal job, or a sick person asking for healing. These duas rise fast because they come from pain, and pain has a special key to the doors of mercy. The second type is dua of gratitude, when your heart is full, when blessings surround you, and you realize none of it was by chance. Gratitude duas not only acknowledge Allah's favors, they multiply them. A thankful heart becomes a magnet for more blessings. Then comes dua of guidance, the one you make when you're confused, lost, or unsure of the right path. It's the dua of a young person choosing a career, a believer deciding about marriage, or anyone trying to avoid a mistake. These duas light up the road ahead, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes in drastic turns. There is also dua of protection against evil, envy, harm, and unseen dangers. These duas act like a spiritual shield, guarding your mind, your family, your home, and your peace. And finally, the most beautiful type, dua of love, when the heart says, Ya Allah, bring me closer to you, without asking for anything else. This dua doesn't chase dunya. It chases connection, purity, and spiritual elevation. Each type serves a purpose. Each type strengthens faith. Each type shapes destiny. Because dua isn't just asking. It's trusting. It's surrendering. It's believing that the one who created the universe is not too busy to listen to your voice. And when these duas rise from sincerity, they don't just reach the heavens, they return with guidance, strength, and hidden gifts you never saw coming. When the Quran teaches you how to ask, every believer has moments when they don't know what to ask for or how to ask for it. Their heart is full, their eyes are heavy, and their thoughts are scattered. And that's when the Quran steps in like a gentle mentor, teaching us the most powerful duas ever spoken in human history. These Quranic duas are not ordinary words. They were revealed by Allah Himself, shaped perfectly, carrying a wisdom that reaches deep into the soul. When you recite them, you're not just making dua, you're repeating phrases chosen by the Creator of mercy. One of the most emotional Quranic duas is the dua of Prophet Adam a.s. after he made a mistake. He didn't argue. He didn't justify. He simply said, "O our Lord, we have wronged ourselves. If you do not forgive us and have mercy upon us, we will surely be among the losers." This dua teaches humility. It teaches that forgiveness begins with admitting our flaws. Then there's the dua of Prophet Yunus a.s., made from the depths of a dark, crushing loneliness inside the belly of a whale. There is no God but you. Glory be to you. Indeed, I have been among the wrongdoers. This dua is powerful because it came from a place where escape felt impossible. Yet Allah responded instantly. It's a reminder that no one is ever too far for mercy to reach them. Another profound dua is the dua for goodness in both worlds. Our Lord, give us the best in this world and the best in the next, and protect us from the fire. It's simple, complete, and balanced. A dua that shapes your dunya and your akhirah at the same time. The dua of Prophet Musa a.s. is a dua every anxious heart can relate to. My Lord, expand my chest, make my task easy, and remove the knot from my tongue. This is the dua of someone facing fear, pressure, and responsibility. Reciting it brings courage and confidence at moments when strength feels low. And then there's the dua for guidance. Guide us to the straight path. We repeat it every day in every prayer because guidance is not something you secure. Once it's something you must renew constantly. Each Quranic dua opens a door to forgiveness, a door to strength, a door to clarity, a door to peace. These are not just duas. These are lifelines sent from above, the duas taught by the Beloved. If the Quran teaches us what to ask, then the Prophet Muhammad teaches us how to ask. His duas were full of love, humility, hope, and closeness to Allah. They were simple enough for a child to understand, yet deep enough to heal a broken heart. Every moment of his life carried a dua. Morning, evening, eating, traveling, sleeping, leaving home. Entering home, he showed the Ummah that every breath can be turned into worship through dua. One of his most beautiful duas is the dua for a pure heart. O Allah, purify my heart from hypocrisy, my actions from showing off, my tongue from lying, and my eyes from treachery. This dua goes straight to the core. It reminds us that real success isn't about wealth or fame, it's about a clean, sincere heart. Another powerful dua is the dua of relief and ease. Dua he taught when someone feels overwhelmed. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from anxiety and grief, from weakness and laziness, from miserliness and cowardice, and from the burden of debt. This dua feels like a shield. It protects the mind, the soul, and the emotions from draining a person's strength. And then there is the dua he made for light. O Allah, place light in my heart, light in my tongue, light in my hearing, light in my sight. This dua is a reminder that guidance isn't only knowledge, it's illumination. It's the ability to see truth as truth and falsehood as falsehood. One of his most heartfelt duas was the dua of seeking Allah's mercy. O Allah, your mercy I hope for. Do not leave me to myself even for the blink of an eye. Correct all of my affairs. It teaches complete reliance on Allah, a reminder that even one moment without His guidance can lead a person astray. The Prophet also made dua for protection not just from physical harm, but from spiritual danger. O Allah, protect me from the punishment of the grave, from the trials of life and death, and from the trial of the false Messiah. This dua builds a spiritual fortress around a believer. And perhaps the most comforting dua he made is the dua for contentment. O Allah, make me pleased with what you have written for me. A dua that softens pain, heals disappointment, and makes the heart settle peacefully with Allah's plan. These prophetic duas are treasures timeless, universal, and deeply healing. Whoever holds on to them never walks alone. How dua quietly reshapes a person's life. Sometimes a person thinks dua only changes their situation, but the truth is deeper. Dua changes them. It reshapes the way they think, the way they react, the way they face hardship, and the way they see the world. The impact of dua is not always loud or dramatic. Often, it is quiet, gentle, and invisible yet unbelievably powerful. The first change dua brings is clarity. When you pour your fears and plans before Allah, your heart becomes lighter. Confusion fades. Decisions become easier. You stop overthinking because you know you've handed your matter to the one who knows the beginning and the end. This clarity doesn't come from logic, it comes from trust. The second effect is inner strength. A person who makes dua regularly doesn't break easily. They might fall, but they rise faster. They might cry, but they don't collapse. Because deep down, they know they're not fighting alone. They have a secret support system, a divine backup that never fails. Then dua builds patience, not the force kind, but the peaceful kind. You stop rushing life. You stop panicking. You stop demanding instant results. Instead, you start understanding a beautiful truth. Every delay from Allah carries wisdom, and every not yet is a form of protection. Dua also creates contentment. Many people chase happiness in material things, but their hearts stay empty. Dua fills that emptiness. It makes you satisfied with what you have, hopeful for what's coming, and grateful for what you've survived. Contentment is not a gift you find, it's a gift Allah places in your chest when you talk to Him sincerely. Another subtle effect of dua is emotional healing. There are wounds doctors can't treat, friends can't understand, and time can't erase. But dua reaches those wounds directly. It softens hardened hearts, calms anxieties, and removes bitterness. The tears shed during dua wash away pain that has been carried for years. And then comes connection and deep spiritual closeness with Allah. You start feeling His presence in your highs and your lows. You begin noticing blessings you once ignored. You see guidance in places you never expected. Dua turns your life into a journey of companionship with your Creator. So yes, dua can change your destiny. But before destiny changes, dua changes you slowly, beautifully, and permanently. When destinies shift because of a whisper, there are moments when a person looks at their life and wonders, can things really change for me? And the answer, in the language of faith, is simple. Yes. When dua enters the story, dua has the power to alter what seems impossible, redirect what feels fixed, and open paths that never existed before. Destiny carries one of the deepest concepts in Islam. Everything is written, everything is known, everything is recorded. But within that divine writing, Allah has placed something extraordinary, a believer's dua. The Prophet taught that nothing changes destiny except dua. This means Allah, in His infinite knowledge, already knew your dua and wrote its impact into your life's script. So how does dua change destiny? First, dua breaks invisible barriers. Sometimes, life feels blocked, like someone is trying, working, praying, yet doors won't open. These are moments when unseen barriers, spiritual tests, or delayed blessings hold a person back. Dua cracks those barriers silently, opening a path exactly when the heart needs it most. Second, dua redirects harm that was coming. You may never know the accident you avoided, the heartbreak that missed you, or the illness that passed by your life, all because of a sincere dua you once made. The world sees coincidence. Allah sees protection. Next, dua invites better outcomes than what you planned. Sometimes what you ask for is small compared to what Allah wants to give you. You dream of a window, but Allah prepares a doorway. You hope for survival, while Allah plans success. You pray for someone to stay, but Allah brings someone better. Dua upgrades your destiny. Then there is the most emotional part. Dua softens the parts of destiny that are difficult. Tests don't disappear, but the strength to carry them increases. Hard days become bearable. Pain becomes meaningful. Loss becomes a source of spiritual growth. Allah gives patience in moments when patience feels impossible. And finally, dua writes new chapters in your life. Chapters of healing, guidance, opportunities, and unexpected ease. Chapters you never thought were possible. Chapters written not by your hands, but by your tears, your hopes, and your whispered prayers. Destiny is powerful, but the dua of a sincere heart is one of the most powerful forces Allah placed in the universe. A whisper that can transform a lifetime. Hidden moments when dua is most powerful. Every believer knows how to raise their hands, But not everyone knows when those raised hands carry the greatest weight. There are special moments, quiet windows of time when the heavens open wider, when mercy descends deeper, and when a believer's dua is carried with extraordinary speed. One of the most powerful moments is the last third of the night. When the world sleeps, when distractions are silent, when hearts soften, Allah calls out, asking, "Who is asking me so I may give him?" This time is not just spiritual, it's intimate. Abandoned worries turn into strength. Tears feel lighter. Dreams feel closer. A single dua made at this hour can change a lifetime. Another blessed moment is between the adhan and the iqamah. Those few minutes pass quietly in most lives, unnoticed. Yet the Prophet said this is a time when duas are accepted. It's like standing between two worlds, the call to prayer and the beginning of prayer, carrying your requests to the one you're about to stand before. Then comes the moment of sujud, the deepest place a human can ever reach. When the forehead touches the ground, pride melts, ego disappears, and the soul falls into complete surrender. The Prophet said a person is never closer to Allah than in sujud. That closeness is not symbolic, it's real. Duas made in sujud carry a unique power because the heart is humbled, vulnerable, and fully honest. There is also the moment after completing salah, when you sit quietly, your heart soft, your mind focused, and your soul still connected to Allah. This is a time to ask for guidance, stability, forgiveness, and direction. Many life-changing duas were made in these simple seconds. Then comes the dua of a fasting person, especially at the time of iftar. Hunger weakens the body but strengthens sincerity. A fasting person's dua has a special status because it comes from discipline, sacrifice, and purity, and perhaps most emotionally powerful of all, the dua made in hardship, when your chest is tight, when life overwhelms you, when you feel alone. The Prophet said Allah is closer to the broken-hearted. A dua made from pain carries a sincerity that shakes the heavens. These moments aren't rare, they're woven into everyday life. Whoever learns to recognize them learns to unlock blessings that others miss, signs that your dua is already working. Many people think dua only works when the exact thing they asked for appears in front of them. But dua begins working long before the results show. It works quietly, spiritually, internally, and sometimes in ways a person doesn't recognize until much later. The truth is, your dua may already be accepted just in ways you haven't connected yet. One of the first signs is a sudden sense of peace. Maybe nothing has changed on the outside, but the storm inside you calms down. You feel lighter. You feel supported. You feel a strange but comforting certainty that everything will be okay. This peace is not random, it's a response. Another sign is when you feel pushed away from something harmful. A relationship suddenly ends. A job opportunity slips away. A plan collapses. And at first, it hurts. But later, you realize it was protection. Allah redirecting your path because of a dua you once made for what is best for you. Sometimes the sign shows as small blessings appearing unexpectedly. You meet someone helpful. A small problem gets solved easily. A door opens without effort. These little moments are often the beginning of a bigger acceptance. Then there's the sign of new strength in your heart. You feel more patient, more stable, more hopeful. Things that once stressed you don't break you anymore. This emotional strength is a direct outcome of dua because Allah strengthens the heart before He changes the circumstances. Another powerful sign is increased worship. You find yourself praying more, remembering Allah more, feeling pulled toward goodness. This spiritual movement is not accidental. It is Allah preparing you for the blessing you asked for. There is also the sign of tests intensifying right before the opening. This is something many people misunderstand. When the dua is close to being accepted, life may become tougher. Pain increases, obstacles multiply, but this is not rejection. It is the final polishing of the heart before the reward arrives. And perhaps the most overlooked sign. Your lips keep returning to the same dua again and again. When Allah puts a dua in your heart repeatedly, it means the acceptance is already written. You are simply being guided to keep knocking on the door. Dua works in layers. Sometimes you see the effect. Sometimes you feel it. Sometimes you only understand it years later. But the moment you make dua, the process begins. When Allah delays, but never denies. One of the hardest lessons in life is accepting that Allah's timing is not always our timing. A believer makes dua with hope, with urgency, with dreams in their chest, and sometimes the answer doesn't come right away. The silence feels heavy. The waiting feels long. And the heart whispers, "Why not yet?" But the truth is powerful. A delay is not a denial. When Allah delays something, it's never random. It's always purposeful, always precise, always for the good of the believer who asked. The first reason for delay is preparation. Sometimes you're asking for something your heart is not ready to carry. A better job, a better relationship, a better life. These blessings require growth, maturity, and spiritual grounding. Allah delays the gift so He can first strengthen the person receiving it. The second reason is protection. You may be asking for something that would harm you right now. Perhaps the timing isn't safe. Perhaps the people involved aren't right. Perhaps the path you want is carrying unseen dangers. The delay becomes a shield guarding you from what you can't see. Another reason is replacement. You might be praying for one outcome, but Allah is preparing another something bigger, better, more peaceful, more long-lasting. You don't see it yet, but the delay is simply the time needed for the better plan to unfold. Then there is elevation when Allah loves your voice so much that He delays the acceptance just to keep you close. Every time you make that dua, every tear that falls, every whisper you repeat, it all elevates your rank. Sometimes the delay is the gift. Delays also test loyalty. Anyone can trust when life is easy. Anyone can believe when answers come quickly. But the true believer is the one who holds on to Allah even when nothing changes, yet still believes everything will. And here is the emotional truth. Sometimes the thing you're begging for is actually on its way, but right before it arrives, life becomes harder. That is the final test, the last push, the moment of spiritual stretching before the opening is delivered. When Allah delays, He is not ignoring you. He is arranging, protecting, refining, reshaping, and preparing. His timing is not slow, it's perfect. So hold your heart steady. What's written for you is already traveling toward you, just at the exact moment Allah knows is best. the whisper that never dies. In the end, the real power of dua isn't found in the words you say, but in the relationship it builds. A believer's life begins to change the moment they realize that dua is not just an act of worship, it's a lifelong companionship with Allah. Dua is the bridge between your weakness and His strength, your confusion and His wisdom, your fear and His protection, your emptiness and His mercy. It is the one thing that stays with you from childhood to old age, from your brightest days to your darkest nights. Every achievement you celebrate and every hardship you survive is tied, in some way, to a dua you once made. The final truth is simple but powerful. Dua never dies. Even when you forget it, the angels remember it. Even when you move on, that dua continues rising. Even when life distracts you, your words are still recorded with Allah preserved, valued, and waiting for their moment of acceptance. Some duas will be answered in this world. Some will unfold slowly across years. Some will come in ways you never imagined. And some will wait for you in the hereafter, transformed into rewards. So breathtaking that you'll wish none of your duas were answered in dunya. Every pain you shared with Allah, every dream you whispered, every tear that fell in sujud, every hope you tucked into your heart, none of it is lost. The Prophet said that Allah is shy to leave His servant empty-handed when they raise their hands sincerely. Imagine that level of mercy. Imagine that level of love. The Creator of the universe feeling shy to reject you. That means your smallest dua matters. Your late-night whisper matters. Your broken voice matters. Your trembling hands matter. And even when you don't see immediate change, dua is already working, shaping destiny, softening hearts, clearing paths, protecting you from unseen harm, or saving blessings for the day you'll need them most. So as this journey ends, remember one final message. Never underestimate a moment when your heart turns to Allah. Never doubt the power of a whisper made in faith. Never think your dua is too small, too late, or too impossible. Because the one you are speaking to is the one who can do anything. And as long as you keep making dua, your story is never over.